Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday Night Comics, even though it's Saturday. How's everybody doing out there? Let's see, I see Della, Shady, Hey Camel, who corrects my spelling. I really butchered that one, too. Truckin' Bear, Cynic, Tall Person, Okie, Ryan, Old Guy, John Migda, Evolved. How you guys doing? Should be out catering to the whims and fancies of Lord Floopington. I don't know where he is right now. Hey, Evil One, how you doing? Hey, James Colley. Hey, Ginger Power. Oh, you're not here? My bad. How's everybody doing out there in viewership land? It's Sunday for you? Yeah, we're going to be on Sunday in about 2 hours. Hey, Spud Gun. Nice. Hope everybody's doing well. I've had a kind of a weird day. And mostly I've been fucking stuff up. Hi, Angela. How long has he been MIA? 4 or 5 hours. I don't know. He's outside somewhere. I'd go looking for him, but he always runs away when I do that. He's like, "What are you doing? I'm working." 30 hours of being awake, about to crash. Oh, that sucks. Well, stay safe, man. Well. I didn't misplace Lord Flivington. He went on patrol. Ordering fried chicken. Oh, nice. I hope it's delicious. I'd love to have some fried chicken right now. That sounds good. Well, it's a regular show, so I got some articles here that we can go over. And let me move them around a little bit. And we'll start with that. Home in my bed, all is good. Nice. That's the best place to be in bed, is at home. You got your pillow in the right spot. It's got your right head divot. I don't like sleeping on other pillows. Always makes my neck hurt. Bad fried chicken's hard to do. Oh, you'd be surprised, Okie. The KFCs around me, they're all grease. It's fucking disgusting. I can't stand them. Got Biden sickness where you forget that you know the thing. I forget lots of stuff, dude. What I forget? Give me money? Is that what I forgot? Cats are serial killers, the animal kingdom. Oh, yeah. Cats are always out hunting. Oh, thank you, Tall Person. Happy Nautilus Night. As a side note for a fun bit of trivia, an ostraconophile is aroused by shellfish. That's fucking gross. That's fucking gross. Friday, you forgot Friday? No, I was actually busy Friday. I was dog sitting, and that's why we're doing this today, because I was dog sitting and the dog was terrified of the thunderstorm, so I had to sit with him and take care of him. Oh, thanks, Okie. So yeah, I couldn't do it Friday because I didn't get home in time. So by the time I got home, Monkey was already streaming, and I wanted to do the Monkey in the morning, and so I pushed this off till today. So that's why. Clam fuckers, gross, faceless. Oh. Likely story, you're actually out searching for. No, I'm not out searching for Floofington. He can take care of himself. He's a good kitty. And he does run away from bigger cats. He's exploring the area out behind the garage, I think. Oh. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Things do not want to work properly for me today. Where is it? There it is. Okay. The buttons are hard. So I did get to the comic shop today, and I didn't have a lot of comics up there. So that was a thing that happened. That's why Floofington is away. He smelled dog. No, the homeowner came out and mowed the lawn. So that's what scared him, I think. If you forgot about the fake digital money and it skyrockets in value, then you'll have enough for a tank of gas. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate that, Okie. Thank you. I'm always hoping to get rich. That's the dream, isn't it? So like, share, and subscribe. All right. That was the lousy shill. All right. Let's talk about a new movie coming to Alamo Drafthouse. Gojira from 1954, Trom 1954, is premiering at Alamo Drafthouse on Godzilla Day. I actually would love to see this, but there's no Alamo Drafthouse anywhere near my house. Check that scene out. That's cool looking. Godzilla's 67th birthday is going to kick off with a kaiju-sized way come Godzilla Day in November. As part of the celebration, the 4K restoration of the 1954 film that started it all premieres at the home of Booze and Arcane Cinema, Alamo Drafthouse. Kaiju news outlet KNO spread the news on Twitter, complete with a trailer of what else is lined up. The world premiere of the 4K remaster of Godzilla will be released at Alamo Drafthouse locations beginning on Godzilla Day, November 3rd. It's got a little trailer here. They added that in the thread that festivals will also include new Godzilla collectibles released. Godzilla pop-up shops will return to some bookstore I can't pronounce. A new Godzilla AR experience and a new Godzilla Chomp documentary series will be released on the Godzilla YouTube channel. Other Godzilla movies will be screened too throughout the month, and they are Godzilla vs. Hydra, The Return of Godzilla, otherwise known as Godzilla 1984, and its sequel, Godzilla vs. Biola and Shin Godzilla. The Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biolante, or whatever, will be presented in a double feature at select Drafthouse theaters starting November 12th, while Godzilla vs. Hydra is being shown in observance of its 50th anniversary. It is interesting considering Toho banned the film's director, that guy, Bano, from ever directing a Godzilla movie again, but as a credited executive producer on the MonsterVerse films, the late Bano got the last laugh. Nonetheless, Alamo Drafthouse is partnering with Toho for the occasion to bring the Gojira remaster to the screens coast to coast. Toho's enduring cast of... Why are all these pop-ups on here? Oh my god, fuck off, Bounding. What are you doing? That's annoying because they can strike me for that shit. Toho's enduring cast of kaiju creations have been lighting up Alamo Drafthouse screens for almost 25 years, so we're honored to help plan Godzilla's birthday party. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be at Alamo Drafthouse. That's the important bit. Lasers. I remember seeing this movie in the theater. Win the lottery? Yeah, I wish. What is a Drafthouse? The Alamo Drafthouse is a place where you can see movies, but they also do full bar selection, and you can have food brought to your little table area. They have little tables in between recliners. It's high-end movie theaters, basically, where you can eat. Yeah, comfy seats, overpriced local beers, and average food. Exactly, Okie. That's way more succinct than I could have put it. Pop-ups equal we need money. Yeah, it's a cash grab. Epic levels of pop-ups. More money. You're not wrong. So I thought that was cool. Might be worth checking out. I'm not paying $30 to go to it, though, because it's always like $30 when they do these things. Hey, TOS, how you doing, man? All right, let's see what's next. We'll make fun of him back to back. All right, so let's talk about Kirk Busiek. They also sent out stormtroopers to make sure you don't make a sound or open your phone during the movie. Yeah, that is one thing I do like, actually, because it always annoys the fuck out of me to hear people talking on their damn phone like they're a bunch of hood rats. There's movie theaters that serve beer. Oh, yeah, there's lots of them. We used to have this local place down in that wasn't in Bexley. Where was that? That was in Clintonville, in Columbus, that had little independent theater that show movies like this, just old movies, rehashes, special editions, stuff like that. And they did the same thing. They had a bar. The front half of the theater where you normally get popcorn, that was an actual bar. And then you paid for your ticket and everything, and then you could take your booze in with you. And sometimes it does backfire because every now and then some people get really annoying, but they usually get tossed out right away. Synergy, they bring stuff to you during the movie in certain theaters. Yeah. It caught on for a little while, but there's not as many as there used to be. Yeah, liquor too. Yeah, the little place that I was just talking about, they had liquor. It was technically a bar that you could go see a movie in. So it wasn't a place for kids though. That was kind of nice too. So they never really showed kids movies. I think they did during the daytime, but they served booze most of the evening hours. Fix Brew House, never heard of that one. Flix Brew House. Check that out. Closest to one is Cincinnati, 2-hour drive past. Come on, it's only Cincinnati. Just because you'll see a movie and get robbed. It's Cincy, man. It's supposed to be a dump. You go see the Hall of Justice while you're getting robbed. Something similar, but similar gold class reclining single person sofa, alcohol, fancy food, and desserts. Yeah, see, those are the type of places that I'll fall asleep in. I've been to a couple of them, like the little indie place, but they're always expensive. And yeah. Yeah, the Natty's a shithole. I try and avoid Cincinnati as much as possible. Sounds like upscales breweries here in Utah. Oh, yeah, that probably would suck. Arclight theaters in LA had bars. Oh, nice. All right, over here on the CBR, Kurt Busiek's Astro City, Aerosmith, and more headed to Image in 2022. I read Astro City when it first came out. I thought it was okay. It was kind of weird, but by today's standards, it probably is about normal. So he's moving his big catalog full indie stuff over to Image for new content and probably a bunch of reprints. Image will be the home of new installments of Kurt Busiek with the return of Astro City, Aerosmith, The Autumn Lands, and many more. January 22, we'll see Busiek team with artist Carlos Pacheco for Aerosmith Behind Enemy Lines. The 6-issue limited series, or miniseries rather, will then be followed in February by the release of a remastered hardcover collected edition of the original series. March 22 features Astro City's return as Busiek collaborates with Brett Anderson, Alex Ross, and Alex Sinclair for a one-shot special that introduces new characters along with the release of collected editions. This is largely a money grab. Free Agents is a new series by Busiek, co-written by Fabian Nicieza, who was always mediocre in the 90s, and artist Stephen Mooney that joins Autumn Lands from Busiek, Benjamin Dewey, and Jordi Belair for a late 2022 release. Blah, 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 ass kissing. When I was editing comics for Extreme Studios back in the 90s, one of my big regrets was that I couldn't close the deal on getting Kurt Busiek to write Supreme, so working with Kurt to make Image the home of all his creator-owned works from Astro City to Aerosmith to Autumn Lands and more has been nothing short of a thrill, Eric Stevenson, chief creative officer at Image, said. In addition to being one of the comics' finest writers, that's an overstatement. Kurt is also a magnet for equally talented artists, and we couldn't be happier to see the Image eye on works like that of Carlos Pacheco, Brett Anderson, Alex Ross, Ben Dewey, Stephen Mooney, Jordi Belair, and Alex Sinclair. So yeah, Busiek's moved a bunch of his stuff over to Image. I never read Aerosmith, but these miniseries and one-shots really just sound like a cash grab for they're lead-ins to the reprints, and I think that's probably just a cash grab because Busiek's got plenty of money, and they're going to be very expensive too. This doesn't look particularly interesting either. I might check it out though. Autumn Lands I'm not familiar with. I haven't looked into that at all. Shock Rockets, I don't know what that is, but it looks like modern Airboy. Superstar, as seen on TV. Stuart Immonen, Wizard's Tale. Don't know what that is either, but looks like Busiek's. So if you guys like any of this stuff, Busiek's gonna do some new printings. Funny, poorly drawn anime, Detroit Metal City. I never heard of that. Yes, it does, Faithless, because it's a different thing entirely. It's obviously not about a rock band. If it was about a rock band, they might be in a little bit more trouble. But Aerosmith being probably somebody that makes arrows, like a Fletcher. They make most of their money on food and drinks. Yeah. Ticket prices are almost always going straight to the actual companies that make the movies, not the people that own the theaters. They make everything off concessions. Amount of years, decades, it's the industry that's useful for this. Doesn't mean they were good. Yeah, you're not wrong, Oki. Yeah, I'd be interested in rereading some of the old Astro City stuff because I've seen a lot of it really cheap, various places, and it's been going up again because Busiek's doing more work, but he's kind of a douche. I did not know that, James. DMC was made into a terrible movie. Oh, I never saw it. I know Kirk Busiek was really good when they did like the Heroes Return stuff, but the guy's kind of a crackpot as far as I could tell. I think he's one of those old grandpa types that just screams into the wind. So I don't know what that's all about. But he's probably going to make more money this way because I think he was with Top Cow. Or no, not Top Cow. Somebody else before this. I know some people that work there and they usually let me take my own food in. Nice. That's the best way to do it. All right, let's look at another article about this guy. So Kirk Busiek, like I said, he loves to talk politics and he hates people. Hey, nobody, how you doing, man? Hey, Louie. Juicy Couture P&G changed to Juicy Couture by G&P because Procter & Gamble sued and won. That's freaking dumb. I get it, but they've been using P&G for a while, but I think that's a really thin basis for a lawsuit. But, these big companies, they throw enough money around, they seem to win. It's almost like judges don't follow the rules. So Bleeding Fool's reporting that comics writer Kirk Busiek is still ridiculously attacking conservatives. He's a very angry man. I think this is the same guy that shunned his kid for not voting the way he wanted. In this tweet written by ultra-leftist Busiek, he says, "Why are a bunch of right-wing folks who think liberals are insane and evil and don't show any interest in comics suddenly choosing to follow me and also other liberal comic creators just to get into fights? No, they like your work, idiot. I get this strange feeling he's doing this deliberately for the sake of anti-conservative incitement. Of course he is, he thrives on it. Presumably because he sees alleged Republicans subscribing to his feed, which would suggest, alas, that he simply doesn't want them for an audience, making clear he stands with a bunch of writers who don't want anybody who disagrees with them with how they write mainstream books, what they buy in the stores." Yeah, Busiek's been like this for a while. Even before Trump. He got real bad under Trump, though, because he has total TDS from the look of it. It's not like Ardu or Heck can read comics. Just wait till they say keep SJW out of comics. Then show them 1930s Superman fighting bankers and landlords. No, Superman fought evil bankers and landlords. Why would I waste my time? I'm not asking how I can battle them and win. I can just block them or mute them if they get hairy. That's a weird sentence. You don't like hairy dudes? Do you like them smooth shaven? I'm just puzzled about why I seem to be getting many wave of them now. Maybe they just found your work and they liked your work and now you're just being an asshole to them. I wonder why the person he's responding to here, along with Busiek himself, seems to think conservatives won't believe a banker or landlord is capable of ghastly evil. And again, too bad he's decided to remain dismissive and alienating. He's a very divisive person. If you don't agree with him, he doesn't like you, and he will shun you. Even though his assignments for the Big Two in the past decade have been few. The comic skaters are mewling for their lack of coverage by media outlets, so maybe they're targeting the long-term creators that still have news coverage. Which Busiek responded, these guys don't seem to be into comics, just politics. The Gators, for all their issues, make comics. Gators meaning comic skaters. I don't know why they use that. I think that's a dumb nickname to give them because Gators are cool. Comic skaters, not all comic skaters are right wing, and I don't think they're comic skaters bothering you because they all know you're going to block them. Here he is wearing a pussy hat because look what an ally he is. Oh my gosh, he's so going to touch some booby today. Well, at least he's admit there's comic skaters out there who are in the indie scene making various sorts of books, blah, blah, blah. To be fair, your experience is super weird and offbeat. Hey, everyone's experience is unique. Okay, you're just sucking your own dick now. You see what's around you. No, you're just seeing. He looks for phantoms, from what I can tell. I've read his Twitter timeline. This is why I don't follow many comic pros because they're crazy weird. Wondering why somebody may have a problem with busty ladies here. On which note, much as I dissent with Gal Gadot's politics, does that mean the aforementioned somebody's got issues with her physique, considering she's fairly busty herself? Or do they have a problem with Stan Lee creating busty ladies in his time? If so, why don't they just admit it and distance themselves from creators? I'm following because this guy Fusion said, I'm following because I just getting into Twitter recently, and because you're a legend. Liberal is just a bonus. Anyway, there's a lot of right-wingers with a lot of free time. After a huge lightning rod decided to become irrelevant in spectacular fashion this year, it's all over. Busiek responded, I prefer to think of myself as a myth. It's much less stressful than being a legend, but thank you. Oh, wow. Do you cup your own balls while you're sucking your own dick? I bet he fingers his own butthole, too. The reason he ended up being more mythical than legendary is because he's so divisive when he could have avoided it and left politics at the door. Yeah, that's obvious. Hughes, vain and nerd hardcore massage. Oh my god. These people are fucking nuts. There's a huge vein and nerd culture of hardcore misogynistic gatekeeping bigoted far right loons. I have yet to meet these people. Well, I have met one. I met one guy. He did have a swastika tattoo. But he was perfectly reasonable with everybody around him, even though he was obviously a crackpot. But I see a lot of left-wing nuts over at the comic shops. A lot of them. People who embrace hate culture is a haven when they felt disenfranchised. I don't know that many right-wingers who've embraced hate culture. I would disagree with that. Busiek said, yeah, but a bunch of them seem to have me and others as a pretty recent ad. Question is, wasn't about why there are right-wingers who like comics, why some who don't seem to have any clear interest in comics up and decided to follow me very recently. Well, you say a lot of dumb shit, and people like a trash fire. Watch out being added to the list. For some reason, they keep an eye on you so they can pile on, flex that block finger. I do seem to have been recently put on a wacko right-wing list full of, let's just say, very odd claims about things. Nuked it. I don't even know what the hell that means. But nobody wants you on lists. Nobody knows who you are outside of the comic industry. And even then, younger people, I would say 30 and under, probably only have a passing familiarity with your name. Wait a minute. Is he claiming media commentators like Joel Pallark, whoever that is, Star Parker, don't know, Carolyn Glick, don't know, Andrew Clavin, I know who that is, are following him now? I doubt it. Gee, I'd think that would be flattering if I had a career like his, but he apparently doesn't. No surprise, of course, he's long become one of the many leftists who's doing things a little more on social media than ranting against right wingers when he could be spending far more time writing and illustrating, something most publishers would do well to urge their employees to resume doing on a serious basis and stop using social media so often. If you're a creative type, get off social media. It's nothing but hell for you. It's a time sink, it's going to hurt your brand, and it's not good for your mental health. The less time you spend on there, the happier you're going to be. This guy is a very seemingly miserable human being who's very, very angry. Yeah, he's the one that was right. Was that him or Ron Friend? I think it was Busiek that did that Green Lantern issue. Hold on, let me check. That's a good question. Oh, that was Ron Mars. Yeah, that was Ron Mars. Yeah, Ron Mars and Daryl Banks did that. Good question, though. Most right wingers have a leave me the fuck alone culture. Yes, they do, Sean. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Louis. You're better off putting faith in fictional characters because real people are dumbasses. Oh, no, easy mistake to make, Ginger. Same time, same era of comics. And he's done stuff before that would have thought, that wouldn't pass the muster today. At his age, his testicles double as Benoit balls, right? The sag as you get older, kids. Meet plenty of left wings that are in hate culture, though. Oh yeah, absolutely. People that are emotionally driven, and I don't just mean leftists here, but people that are driven by emotions tend to swing into groups that are angry very frequently because they base everything on emotion, and they tend to have very almost bipolar mood swings, but they tend to follow into hate groups more often. Don't drink soy, kids. Unrelated, I assume. Busiek's Conan series for Dark Horse were decent, mostly because the rights holders get the final say. Yeah, exactly. Okay, he's a good writer when he wants to be. His Avengers run was great back in the '90s, but the late '90s, early 2000s, right in there, right after Heroes Were Born. It was amazing, but I haven't read those in probably 20 years. But I remember thinking how good they were, and I had held on to those for a long time. But now his stuff is just straight up political, and it's lazy. Hey, Costin, how you doing, man? Sorry, I'm having trouble keeping up with chat. You guys are talkative today. Best to avoid the authors and their opinions and just enjoy the content you find enjoyable. Absolutely. Absolutely. I read a lot of stuff by leftists, and as long as their politics aren't ham-fistedly wedged in there, I don't really give a shit. All right, let's take another look from CBR. Hey, Seth, how you doing, man? I'm doing okay. All right, DC's long-delayed Flash film is wrap shooting. Principal photography has been done after setbacks and 124 days shoot. Hey, man, this guy is a terrible actor. He always looks confused by everything, like a little kid that just pooped himself. Like, I didn't do it. Colin Nicholson, one of the film's sound mixers, confirmed the wrap on Instagram, writing, "That's a wrap on The Flash, day 124 with a fantastic sound team, brilliant cast and crew. It's been challenging, but great fun." Production on The Flash had been anything but speedy. Phil Lord and Chris Miller signed on to write the story treatment in 2015, while Seth Grahame-Smith was tapped to write and direct. The latter departed in 2016 and was replaced by Rick, somebody I can't pronounce, who similarly left the project the following year due to creative differences. Warner Brothers then commissioned a script rewrite by Joby Harold in 2018. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein were announced as the new directors. And the other shakeup, Andy somebody was named the new director in August 2020 and production began in April 2021. This sounds like it's going to be a giant fucking mess. Even with Muschietti on board, however, the Flash faced some setbacks. Damn pop-ups. Even with the most recent of which took place in July when filming was paused due to an accident while filming with a stunt bat cycle. In addition to Ezra Miller returning as Barry Allen, the Flash will feature not one but two Batman in Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck. Film will also introduce Supergirl to the DCEU, with Sasha Calle playing the Girl of Steel. Rumors are that she's going to be the star of this. There's even rumors that CW Arrow vs. Flash Grant Gustin will make an appearance. Yeah, Ezra Miller apparently guest starred briefly in a scene from the Flash TV show. So there rumors are going around that he's going to be switching the roles here. This isn't entirely outside the realm of possibility. Yeah, I just said that. One person who presumably won't be appearing is Ray Fisher's Victor Stone. Reports of Cyborg being the Flash date back to 2016, but after Fisher's falling out with Warner Brothers, the likelihood of his character showing up seems slim. In January, the actor even confirmed the would-be role was much larger than a cameo, but several months later said he'd only reprise it if Warner Brothers apologized. That's not going to happen. This, coupled with his promise to not work on any project headed by DC Film President Walter Hamada, all but confirms the Flash will be a cyborgless endeavor. Now, Ray Fisher did have some legitimate complaints. If you saw the Snyder cut, he did get screwed when Joss Whedon took over. But this movie, I don't have a lot of faith in. I do like that Ben Affleck's going to be in it. I like that Michael Keaton's going to be in it. But Ezra Miller's fucking annoying. That whole thing where he got Gal Gadot to talk about the patriarchy was stupid. And he seems like a really whiny little soy type. So if you're an annoying millennial Gen Zer who loves fighting the man at Antifa rallies, he's probably your dude, but he just seems really obnoxious. And his character was fucking annoying in the Justice League movie. Both versions. Hey, Jack, how have you a quick breakdown on Injustice? You want like a background on it, or do you want my opinion on it? I've seen it, James, but I've never read it. Danny Trejo just shot a movie loosely based on the Seven Samurai in Oklahoma in 14 days. I'd watch that. Zero interest in watching Flash that runs like a retarded Forrest Gump. Yeah, absolutely. I never liked Ben Affleck. I thought he was okay. I think he's a decent actor sometimes. He was the bomb in Phantoms. But, yeah, I didn't mind him as Batman. I thought it could have been a lot worse. Tom Taylor book, yeah. Both. Okay, so the premise is the Joker killed Lois Lane, and Superman went crazy from it and killed the Joker, and then just went on this authoritarian spree of trying to run everything and micromanaging the world, and some of the heroes trying to fight back. Some people sided with him, like Wonder Woman, but Batman and Nightwing and several other people have fought back. The comic was okay. It was some of Tom Taylor's better work. I'm not a huge fan of his, though. The Injustice versus Masters of the Universe was a really good miniseries. I liked that take on it. The video games were good. I don't really think it's going to make a particularly great movie because that's what they're talking about doing. I think they've done an animated movie. The story was interesting. The premise was good, but I think somebody other than Tom Taylor should have done it. So if you can find the graphic novels cheap or the trade paperbacks cheap, I would check those out. I've seen the single issues in bargain bins, though. They did like 8 years of it that were like sort of like 12 issue seasons. 20, I think one was 24 issues. Yeah, he was a decent Batman, Oki. I hope that helps. But yeah, it's basically Superman goes full authoritarian. They've done that sort of thing before in like Red Sun, stuff like that, where Superman's evil. But it was a longer take on it. The video games I thought were better. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, Oki. one bad day could change anyone. I think that's true for most people, but it doesn't always make for good storytelling. Phantoms, yes. Yeah, the Phantoms movie with Ben Affleck. I like that movie. It's very weird. I don't know why I like it, but I do. Yeah, that's the movie you're thinking of. I do believe. Yeah, it's got Ben Affleck there. It's out in the remote middle backwater nowhere, and there's an alien on the loose. The Justice animated movie comes out the 19th this month. Okay, I thought they were doing that. They're talking about doing a live action one because Henry Cavill said he wanted to be in it, but I don't know. So I think that's the movie you're thinking of, Louis. All right, let's do some celebrity news because that helps in the algorithm. If you're ever wondering why I do some of these offbeat articles, it's because it helps in the algorithm. He was in that. Yeah, he played like the local cop. He was like one of the main characters, dude. Was it never shall be the best Evelyn? Was she the one in the Masters Universe movie? Because she did a great job if that was her. The chick that played Evelyn in that looked really hot. And the chick that played Tila had an amazing ass. From People magazine, Norman Reedus and Helena Christensen's son, Mingus, 21, arrested for assault of a woman in New York City. Yeah, that's their son. Son found himself in hot water on Friday evening. Magnus Reedus, oh my God, Hollywood people are weird, was arrested for assaulting a woman in New York City. NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Public Information confirms to People. According to authorities, they responded to a 911 call at 10:15 p.m. local time about an assault that took place near Mulberry Street and Baxter Street in the vicinity of 5th Precinct. See, Baxter Street, that's where the Baxter building is. The Fantastic Four live there. So it ties into comics. See? That made it work. There, a 24-year-old woman whose identity has not been revealed told police she had a verbal confrontation with an unknown male who was later revealed to be Mingus. Well, if he said something stupid, then he would be Dingus. Thank you. I'll show myself out. The woman said that he punched her in the face. And police reported that she obtained an injury below her left eye. Per authorities, she was taken to New York's downtown hospital where she was in stable condition. After the incident, Mingus spoke to the New York Daily News, where he alleged that the woman and her friends came after him and his friends while they were attending the San Gennaro Festival in New York City's Little Italy district. That's a son? Okay. Yeah, let's just roll with that, whatever. Detailing to the outlet that the woman appeared to be drunk, Mingus said she and her friends went after him when he threw her arms out to protect himself, accidentally hitting the woman. It was instinct, he explained. I was reacting to them swarming me and was afraid for the safety of my group. We didn't think anything of it, but these 5 girls followed us for 2 blocks, throwing food at us and yelling. Well, that's just New York. We told them to leave us alone, but they kept following, threatening to hurt my girlfriend and her friend, Mingus continued. It was very apparent that these girls were under the influence and looking for a fight. When Mingus and his group arrived at a corner, the model alleged that the girls swarmed him, and one pulling my hair from the back, another throwing water in my face. He reiterated that he put his arms out to protect himself, noting that police then quickly got involved. There, he said authorities saw one of the girls was hurt and refused to listen to context. According to the police, Mingus was charged with misdemeanor assault and was given a desk appearance ticket. He is expected in court the next few weeks to respond to the charges. Parents didn't respond. So yeah, Mingus, I seriously am confused about what gender this is, but they say it's a dude. So Mingus smacked a bitch. Again, I'm confused. Yeah. Okay. So this is a he said, she said. I think the fact that the woman went to the hospital and got checked out, they probably did a talk screen. and we'll find out more then. Mingus would be better if the last name didn't rhyme, kind of. Magnus Reedus. If your last name was Mingus, it'd be a lot cooler. Yeah, humongous. Much better name. Yeah, this is probably just a misunderstanding between two groups of drunk people. Like one of them thought they knew the other, and everybody started bad mouthing each other. It's New York. People are real hot headed and do weird, dumb shit. I don't know. Nobody, not me. I really don't know. Hey, Beth. Kind of looks like his mother. Was that his mother or was that him? Because I couldn't tell. Yeah, it could be a really cool name, just not with a rhyming last name. That's like naming your kid Wayne Wayne. Someone who wasn't born in America and has never heard of the term dingus, right? Yeah, his mom must be foreign. But yeah, that's the tale of Mingus there. So Mingus helping the algorithm. I mean, totally interested in the actual story. All right, there's been a rumored leak from the set. A couple of leaks have come out today, actually. Zer said, right? Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam suit leaks along with Hawkman. So, ahead of next week's DC fandom event, the Dwayne Johnson Black Adam suit is leaked online with the Aldous Hodge Hawkman helmet and armor. Images have surfaced on social media where Dwayne Johnson's suit can be seen, which is gray and has a yellow lightning bolt on the chest. It doesn't actually look gray. It looks like a charcoal color. And you can see the Hawkman helmet. So I thought, well, these are boring because it doesn't really show much in this very short article. So I went and found the website. Where'd it go? I lost it. Here it is. So here we can kind of see the pictures. Yeah, that helped. So you have to hold on. Let me see if I can enlarge that a little bit. That's best I can do. See, it's more of a charcoal color, like a used charcoal. It's grayish, but it's supposed to be black, and that's what it should be. Is more of a black color. And I don't know. See, the suits are slightly different. See, this doesn't have the gold on it up here. So I don't know if these are like weathered or what. There's no context to these pictures. Although the free Home Depot advertisement's nice. There's Hawkman helmets. Well, they're Thangarians. I don't know if they're specifically Hawkman. I'm assuming this one is. But these just look like regular Thangarian troopers. And this is body armor for the Thangarian warriors. And here's one of the Thangarian ships. That looks kind of cool. The helmets look comic accurate, and this armor doesn't look too far off. But we can't see too much of it. Then there's the Batman cowl, Wonder Woman helmet. I think the same people are doing these that did those props. But I think these are purposeful leaks because they don't show a whole lot. We don't see Dwayne Johnson in the costume. We don't know if these are going to be CGI'd later or what. And you can notice there's different levels of damage on these. And like I said, there's minor differences like this arm piece here. And this bolt here. I'm guessing this is probably the one he's going to actually be wearing, and this is going to be a stuntman one that they're going to CGI or battle damage or something like that. It looks like with different lighting, it looked darker. Yeah, lighting would definitely play a big factor in this. And obviously, this is in like a warehouse where it's very well lit. But on set, they do a lot of different things. But it does have a more like faded black look. So I think it's supposed to look distressed. But I'll drop the link if you guys want to try and look at these a little closer. That's a possibility, Zombie Teddy. I hadn't thought of that. It could be because of his skin tone. Although he would have made a really cool John Henry. The muscles molded directly onto the suits. I find that very weird too. But it's just one of those things. Missing the oil. Doomcock said something about that. I haven't seen Doomcock in a while. I don't really watch his show that much. It's a lot of hearsay. And there's only so much that I really care about. BG, you're not wrong about the name thing. He showed him first with his mother afterwards. Oh, okay. Oh, the guy from Walking Dead's his dad. Yeah, Norman Reedus from Walking Dead's Mingus' dad. All right, so let me get this moved out of the way. All right, let's talk about. Let's do Deadline article on Scarlett Johansson. See a red door and when it painted black. No colors anymore when it painted black. Well, thanks, Rolling Stones. His mom was almost Miss Universe in the 80s. Wow. Nice. All right. From Deadline, Disney and ScarJo resolve bitter Black Widow profits lawsuit. Big money win for the Oscar nominee. Updated with more details. Just days after the first court hearing in the Black Widow profits megabyte lawsuit on Disney was pushed back to March 2022, the Oscar nominee in the House of the Mouse made peace, and it was pricey for the latter. I am happy to have resolved our differences with Disney, said Johansson in a statement released Thursday. When did this come out? September 30th. So this is a week old. Sorry. I didn't do last week's show. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done over the years and have greatly enjoyed my creative relationship with the team. I look forward to continuing our collaboration in years to come. Yeah, I bet she's blackballed. Unlike in their vitriolic filings and their shaming PR statements over the past few, Marvel owner Disney had nothing but love today for the actor who brought Natasha Romanoff to life in nearly 10 separate films. Yeah, that's going to be mutually agreed upon, that they stop bad-mouthing each other and say, oh, we're so glad we're working together again. Then they'll never work together again. Okay, we appreciate her contributions to the MCU and look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Tower of Terror. So she's still on that. That's actually pretty impressive. As is almost always the case like that, in cases like this, neither side gave any indication of how much money was involved in the settlement. However, when it's all said and done, the deal will run to more than $40 million, sources tell me. That's the author speaking. Accordingly, the funds will not be paid by Disney in a single lump sum. If you pick up the creative accounting I'm putting down. In case you forgot, Black Widow came out in cinemas across a Delta variant suffering America and Disney Plus for a premium fee on July 9th. And because of that, things got messy. As I say here, Disney incurred the wrath of many, including Johansson's CAA main man, Brian Lord, for not only telling the world that the actor got paid $20 million up front for the film, which is really poor form, but also tried to make their longtime collaborator look out and out cruel for standing up for herself. Yeah, that was a bad look for Disney, and I think that hurt them in public opinion. And Disney doesn't like lawsuits. They will destroy people. The fact they settled this really does reinforce my theory that they are in debt up to their eyeballs. And with all these high-profile lawsuits against them, they're just trying to make them go away. And they badmouthed her, released her pay, and that really did not go over well with the media. So even people that work with Disney were badmouthing Disney for that. Seeking to enforce the confidential binding arbitration aspects of Black Widow star and executive producer Johansson's contract, the trio doubled down on the actor and her her shingle. Okay. In a futile effort to evade the unavoidable result and generate publicity through a public filing, Periwinkle excluded Marvel as a party to this lawsuit, substantiating instead that its parent company Disney under contract interfering theories, they said of the megastar plaintiff. But long-standing principles do not permit such gamesmanship. I don't know. They're the ones that did fuck up the contract. Notwithstanding the hyperbole is the fact that Disney likely will have prevailed in getting the whole thing moved behind closed doors. In their August 20 throwback, they also contested that there was any cinema-only clause in the contract and that Johansson had lost out on any cash because fans decided to watch the flick at home as opposed to the multiplex. Oh, I guarantee you she lost money on that. If it had been cinema-only, they would have made more money. Just the movie sucked. It was just a C-grade movie. They weren't going to make the kind of money they thought. I'm pretty sure that movie did not profit a whole lot. So they're saying 367 million in worldwide profit, box office, and more than 125 in streaming and downloading retail. And I'm betting the movie probably cost 200 million to make and another 200 million to advertise. And because it sat on a shelf for 2 years, that was a lot of money lost. If it had come out back between Winter Soldier and Civil War, I think it would have been probably $1 billion movie. They have plenty of cash on hand, almost as much as assets receivable for 2021. Together, it's around $30 billion, but they want to start smooth sailing until the parks start hauling in cash again. Yeah, but they've got that $75 billion debt coming up from Fox, and with everything shut down, yeah, they're looking at a lot of bills to pay. You can always call J.G. Wentworth. You're not wrong. Food's taking forever, bastards. Well, time to hit Disney with a lawsuit and not get buried by legal costs. Yeah, their lawyers are real busy right now. So lawyers that refuse to go after them are finally willing to go after them. Yeah, they sense blood in the water. Plus, with a lot of their movies not doing spectacular right now and Disney Plus sales kind of leveling off, I think they're a little nervous. They owe a shit ton of money to a lot of debt collectors. Their cruise lines are shut down. Their theme parks are just opening up again. A buddy of mine just came back from Disney, said it wasn't very busy because people are still afraid to go out because of all the fear mongering about the coof. So yeah, it's they lost a lot of money last year and they really could afford to. So yeah, I'm bored of this. So I'll drop the link in the chat as always. But I think she probably came out pretty well ahead. They're gonna do some creative numbers to kind of hide the thing, like give her executive producer credits on movies or projects, and then just write her a big check that's way more exorbitant than what she would normally have gotten for that. And maybe give her some extra money in an upcoming project or some back end stuff. They always have these creative ways of shifting money around to people. It's pretty standard practice in Hollywood. 26 billion in debt due within 12 months. That's already almost cut in half. Damn. That's actually impressive. I'm waiting until the feds go after Disney just to settle for the payday. I don't think the feds are going to. Disney's got a lot of money, and money talks these days. Look at Epstein. He basically walked out of jail, and nobody's prosecuted anybody that's hung out with him on an island. Clinton. So, and none of the celebrities that were involved in that have ever gone to jail and probably never will. And look at all the people that died hanging out with Kevin Spacey and accusing him of stuff. Disney's got that kind of money and power. People are afraid to go up against the mouse. So the feds aren't going to go after them. That's part of the reason they have so much cash in hand. They planned this when the lockdown started. That's a smart move then. Very convenient that they use the cough as an excuse for their movies failing. Yeah, absolutely. I've heard nothing but middling reviews about Shang-Chi. Like I said, I watched Black Widow the other night, and it was just okay. I thought it had too much comedy, and like if you want one character to be kind of the wacky one, that's fine. Helena worked really well for that. She's got good comedic timing. She was good at deadpan, but there were too many jokes. They were trying to relieve tension that didn't exist. that it made no sense to constantly be cracking jokes. They were trying too hard to make it Disney-fied. And I thought it was very distracting from the plot, which the special effects were a little like there's a couple of scenes of like explosions, one of which is like a gas cloud, and it looked really photoshopped in. I've seen better YouTube videos. So I just thought it was they weren't getting their money's worth for whatever they paid, and it looked like something that was more of a high-end sci-fi channel movie, because you could tell a lot of it was green screened in. You know, your eye picks up on a lot of that, but it just wasn't anything particularly exciting. Hey Kyle, how you doing, man? There's a reason to put Chapek on CEO. Iger really dug Disney into a hole. Oh, he absolutely did. But Chapek's a pennies guy, so he'll penny pinch their way out. Plot doesn't make sense. No problem. Add some jokes. Yep. Yeah, explosions generally sell me on a movie too, but that one just couldn't really sell me on it. I thought Florence Pugh did a good job. Most of the actors did a good job. It just wasn't anything I'm gonna rewatch. If it's on TV, I might watch it, but I'm not gonna seek it out. I'm not gonna own it on Blu-ray. I don't think. All right, we're at the halfway point in the show, and you know what that means. I have to chill. All right, let's talk some D&D. Like, share, subscribe, guys. As always. Only because Trump had a hard on to nail pedos to the wall. There's quite a, yeah, there were, and good on him for that. I wish we would do more of that, but Hollywood gets a pass on pretty much everything. That's true, Zombie. So CBR reported this a little while back in September. Wizards of the Coast is announcing a new D&D gift set for the holidays. It includes a new print of Xanathar's Guide to Everything and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the two most significant expansions for D&D 5th edition. I don't know about that. While they may already be tempting for both players and dungeon masters, like the collection also features Mordecai Presents Monsters of the Multiverse, an all-new reference book that collects and revises tons of D&D material. These three books combined, bundled together with unique DMG screen or DM screen, all contained within a specially designed slipcase covering. We revised the content in the Monsters of the Multiverse so that it plays even better than it did before. Many of the monsters have new abilities and a new bit of lore. They changed stuff. And my suspicion is that they changed some of the monsters to appear to be less racist. They probably got some of their diversity screeners, because they have those at Wizards apparently. And they went through looking for problematic stuff. That's what I think happened here. We also shifted the lore focus so that this material is relevant no matter where you play in the D&D multiverse, not just in Forgotten Realms. Some monsters should be Forgotten Realms specific, though. Features 250 new monster block stats alongside 30 playable races, pulled from a variety of sources, including Volo's Guide to Monsters, the Turtle Package, Mordecai's Tome of Foes. If you already own both these other books, then you need to wait a little longer to purchase Mordecai Presents Monsters of the Multiverse separately. The book will eventually release both physically and digitally as a standalone product, but they've yet to confirm a date. This will be Wild Beyond the Witchland New Adventure treats players to magical carnival games, because that's what D&D needed, was carnival games. And the Mysterious Feywilds launched on September 21st. If you want to be patient, instead wait for October 19th for Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Introduces a bunch of dragons. This gift box is January 25th. So it's not going to make it in time for the holidays, which is stupid. And since they're revising the core rule books, I don't know why you'd bother with revisions of these two books. Just wait a little longer and get the Mordecai one. Mordecainan, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Hey, Logic, how you doing, man? Wheelchair Dungeons. Yep. Yeah, Uber Eats sucks. You were better off just going and getting the food yourself. Yeah, Sean, you're not wrong. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. They are doubling down on all the SJW stuff. And I think what they're doing is revising out problematic stuff, like I said. And then they're going to charge you probably $100 for this, 150, because these books are like $30 a piece, and they're going to probably give them special covers or some shit because there's no price listed. But I'll drop the link if you guys want to read this later. Yeah, everything's pretty much going to be late for the holidays. It'll be expensive to buy all the books in digital or physical forms. Yeah, it's a ripoff. So much of the stuff just isn't worth it. It's fluff. It's not even like productive stuff. They just put in like carnival games. Who the fuck cares about carnival games? If you can't figure that out through a dexterity check or some other ability check, you're not a good game master. Improve D&D now with clowns and whack-a-mole. Yeah, pretty much. Well, remember the Harry Potter setting they're releasing that isn't called Harry Potter. That's a crossover with magic. They have slam poetry battles, impromptu festivals, and a bunch of other shit. Stay lazy, people. Are you delivering Evolve's food? Because he might be a little mad at you. Tip your delivery people well, and they'll get to your house faster. Just remember that. See if I can find that article, because that actually pissed me off really bad. Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos, is what it was called. Yeah, because this was a complete shit show. Let's see. Give me 1 second, because this is actually worth going over again for people that haven't heard me bitch about it. Yeah, Polygon report. This one's Polygon. Yeah, slam poetry battles. Where do I sign up? Does D&D's Strixhaven campaign has mechanics of what a hot mess college life could be? Look, doesn't this look like adventure and excitement to you? Oh my god, we're gonna fight some orcs and then dance. Oh boy, look, fairy lights. And I'm not talking about this longing gaze between Frodo and Samwise here. Look, we got an interspecies couple, and then a lesbian couple over here, and the no touching zone here. So they're obviously just friends. So we went over this a while back. It really pissed me off. So based on Magic the Gathering set, Strixhaven School of Mages, a curriculum of chaos is set as school of wizardry that owes a fair bit to Harry Potter's signature school, Hogwarts. Shocker, right? They're so original over there. This was my original idea, do not steal kind of thing. You get in different colleges. There's 5 of them. Like Prismari draws on the power of elements, while Silver Quill's members use words as weapons through battle poetry and cutting insults. I wasn't joking about the battle poetry, guys. Because they can. Because they can, Evolved. That's why. Slam poetry battle in the early aughts. Thought it was the 10s. Best place to pick up attractive fake goth and emo chicks with daddy issues. Low self-esteem. I do miss those days, Okie. That was a good time. Ah, boy. So many of them got fat, though. So this is the dance club for Mass Effect. No, this is gayer. College is not life is 1,000% true, Louis. And Zombie Teddy, Fred Zone, all the way is what that was. All right, so all players will receive a free campaign feat that will grant them some magical abilities based on the college that they're in. Let's see. This is the fancy cover, which is really lame. Like, this cover's 1,000 times better. You could play as Owlkin, so you could deliver Harry's mail to him, because that's what everybody wanted. It was like, what if we play owls? All right. The book contains rules for building up relationships with other students, which affects the narrative, but also has mechanical impacts on the game. There are personality profiles for 18 NPCs spread across the 5 colleges, and players can interact with them during relationship encounters such as improv festivals, house parties, or pitch perfect style singing competitions. Yeah. The decisions players make during these encounters could earn them new allies or rivals who will try and interfere with their plans. Why would your allies interfere with your plans? Okay. Unlike 40 new creatures plus NPCs, including professors, players also find rules for Alwyn, a new avian race that was previously tested in Unearthed Arcana, plus feats, spells, and items. This is the short version. This is just the first article I grabbed. It's a $50 book. So if you want the $75 one, there you go. That's the alternate cover. I think that's a lazier cover than this one. But yeah, if you want to read this, there are some other articles I'll grab the links for real quick. All the goth chicks got fat. The ones that didn't actively achieve killing themselves. Yeah, you're not entirely wrong on that one. So yeah, that was announced a while back. Okay, come on, computer. My system's running slow today. Slower than usual. And my brain's not much faster today. All right, there's the other link. So if you want to read about that disastrous mess, yeah, it's going to be $50 for that mess. It comes out November 16th. If I can find a cheap copy, like a dinged up one, I might pick it up or borrow it from somebody and actually review it. So you're saying grinder for orcs? Yeah, probably. They were pushing the MTG crossover hard because they had a far chunk of marketing money on it. Yeah. And I still see packs of that stuff sitting around. It doesn't seem to be selling that well. Who fucked the elf when no one was looking? Yeah, there's probably going to be a house elf class that you could play too. I don't know. It's kind of dumb. I think that's going to be stupid. And it shows the mentality that is going on at Wizards, that they're appealing strictly to those people. I do need a new computer, but this one's only like 7 years old. It's fine. Still good. 70s, starting to play D&D. And it's shit. Yeah. That's why you got to get them either into a game that's a little more old school, or try and filter out some of the stupid shit like the wheelchair ramps in Kano Keep Mysteries, because it's getting really woke in their core books even. So it's pretty sad to see. I'm really bummed that they've taken this lazy Harry Potter direction. You're not wrong, BG. If she looked Asian, yes. Yeah, it's only 7 years old. This is my newer computer. You should see my old computer. Oh, I get it, Zombie Teddy. Believe me, I understand. That potato was taking root? Yeah, probably. But computers are expensive, and I don't have that kind of money. I got to replace the brakes on my car soon, too. So priorities are a fucking bitch. I hate being a grown-up. All right, let's piss off Star Wars some more. Let's piss on it. There's a D&D club at our school. Apparently, there are a lot of kids that, yeah, Stranger Things has made it a thing again. The 5th edition, I've heard good things about. Seems fine. No, I'm just going to sell some plasma, Okie. Yeah. Old computer has vacuum tubes. I used to have a VIC-20, and I had a Franklin Ace Franklin. That was a precursor to Apple. So, from bounding into comics, new Star Wars book continues to desecrate Luke Skywalker's character because they can't stop. A newly announced Star Wars book entitled Star Wars Shadow of the Sith will seemingly showcase Luke as a failure as he chases Oki of Bestoon across the galaxy. The book was announced by Lucasfilm on October 7th in a blog on the official Star Wars website. A brief description of the book states Star Wars Shadow of the Sith, a novel from author Adam Christopher, takes place after Return of the Jedi and finds Luke and Lando on a mission to locate Exegol. Christopher teased at the book on Twitter, writing, "So that little book I was working on? Well, Luke and Lando chase Oki of Bestoon across the galaxy and try to rescue a certain young family on the run." It's out June 2022. A much lengthier official description shared in a blog post reveals that the young family is. It begins with Luke and Lando return in an essential novel set between Jedi and Force Awakens. Why are they still allowing that to be canon? The Empire is dead, nearly 2 decades on from the Battle of Endor. The tattered remnants of Palpatine's forces have fled to the first reaches of the galaxy. But for the heroes of the New Republic, danger and loss are ever-present companions. Even in this newly forged era of peace, it continues. It then details Jedi Master Luke Skywalker is haunted by visions of the dark side, foretelling an ominous secret growing somewhere in the depths of space, on a dead world called Exegol. The disturbance in the Force is undeniable, and Luke's worst fears are confirmed when his old friend Lando comes to him with reports of a new Sith menace. Finally, it hints that the family is actually Rey's family fleeing the Sith assassin Ochi, whatever. After his daughter was stolen from his arms, Lando searched the stars for any trace of his lost child, but every new rumor only led to dead ends and fading hopes until he crossed paths with Ochi of Bestoon, a Sith assassin tasked with kidnapping a young girl. It then confirms that it is Rey and her family. His true motives remain shrouded to Luke and Lando, for on a junkyard moon, a mysterious envoy of the Sith Eternal has bequeathed the sacred blade to the assassin, promising that it will give him answers to the questions that have haunted him since the Empire fell. In exchange, he must complete the final mission, return to Exegol with the key to the Sith's glorious rebirth, the granddaughter of Darth Sidious himself, Rey. As Ochi hunts Rey and her parents to the edge of the galaxy, Luke and Lando race into the mystery of the Sith's lingering shadow and aid a young family running for their lives. So, why didn't Luke recognize her in the movies then? In Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the bones of the story were planted. Lando explained to Rey and her companions, "Luke and I were tailing an old Jedi hunter, Ochi of Bestoon. He was carrying a clue that could lead to a wayfinder. We followed his ship halfway across the galaxy here. When we got to his ship, it was abandoned. No clue, no wayfinder." Later in the film, yeah, we all saw the fucking movie. The film then shows Ochi killing both Rey's parents when Rey's mom telling Ochi she isn't on Jakku anymore. So this is just a filler. And I'm back. I hate my internet so much. It wasn't the Asians gnawing through the line again. No, I've taken care of that problem. It's out of their reach now. Sorry about that, guys. It wouldn't surprise me, Assassin. Hi, by the way. Asian girls got him. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. The squirrels fight back too much. They might be. I don't know. Thank you for welcoming me back. Did you hear me read the donation? I did not defeat anyone, Assassin. That was merely my shitty internet because Spectrum is trash. Total trash. And it looks like 10 people dropped out. They're like, well, he's dead. Hey, Jack's out of the bad boy box, right? All right. Thank you, Evolved Potato. This Harry Potter shit could have been made cool. Like how there's a cult in the school and you have to infiltrate it and discover what's going on. Have some people turn up dead and end with a giant fight. Just a little imagination. Yeah, that'd be too easy. They can't do that. Yeah, see the cable line comes under the house, so it goes through the basement. So they might have thought they could escape that way. I don't know. The reptilians are way too lazy to replace me. I am useless to them. But thank you for the donation, Evolved. Appreciate it. And yeah, the D&D is one of those things where you could make it something like that really cool and adventurous, but they didn't. Instead, they put in poetry battles and impromptu festivals and stupid crap like that. It's just lazy. But that's what they care about now. Is like, oh, let's have poetry contests. They fight with battle poetry because people care about that. Ugh, stupid. All right, let's look at another Bounding into Comics article. Todd McFarlane's Spawn film embraces Hollywood wokeness. Spawn creator, that's what title. McFarlane spoke to CBR about the upcoming film, where he made it crystal clear the film is embracing Hollywood's race politics. CBR asked him last month, it was announced Brian Tucker's going to take a crack at the movie script. What about his vision for the project impressed you to bring him on board? To which McFarlane responded with, well, it wasn't just my decision. There's a handful of other people working on it that haven't been announced yet. One of the people working on it, that's going to be a big name when we finally get to announce it. I think he said he went through close to 100 scripts by as many people as he could. Looks like he's on the toilet. The creator then revealed that one of the key things he was looking for was a non-white writer. He said, we're looking ideally for someone that could bring a voice to the character on two levels. I'm just a white Canadian kid. I haven't lived the life of a man in America, of someone with dark skin. Fuck right off. We thought it was important to get the perspective of somebody who has someone who with that perspective coming in and adding a slightly different bent to what you and I as comic book readers already know what Spawn is about. Was it going to join? Is it going to say Black Lives Matter on his cape, or is it what? That's fucking dumb. Who cares? He doesn't have any skin left. He's dead. Who cares that he's black? Nobody ever cared about that. Stop trying to make everything racial politics. Mark McFarlane then noted that he doesn't want the film to tell Spawn's comic book origin. But didn't want it to do the comic book origin story from issues 1 through 3 in the movie. We are looking for people without even telling them that to give them something a little bit different. Yeah, I agree. Don't do the origin. Origin stories are boring. It can be done every now and then, but this constant doing of origin stories is stupid. If you can't sum up the origin by the end of the opening credits, you do it wrong. Or your origin's ridiculously complicated. He continued, unfortunately, 80 to 90% of them, according to the other person involved, who was interviewing most of them, were falling into the trap of retelling the comic book story in the movie. Yeah, that's because that's what everybody seems to want to do. Now, I've got the first 2 issues of King Spawn, and I did review Spawn's Universe, which I should have that review up here soon. Hand me that Spawn. Not wrong, Cass. None of them are safe, Zombie. And apparently McFarlane's joining the woke train. The Spawn creator then went on to detail that he wants the new film to be relevant today, specifically in terms of its social content. McFarlane explained, we saw that movie. That movie came out 20 years ago from New Line. So what we haven't seen that would be interesting and relevant today, but in terms of filmmaking and social content. What's funny about McFarlane's comments here is that he shoots down the idea of doing Spawn's origin for this upcoming film because it's already been done. But the next sentence, he's calling for a movie that will be relevant today, both in terms of filmmaking and social content. Not sure if Todd realizes this, but that's been done to the upteenth time as well. Yeah, he's not wrong. We've already seen it, and movie-going audiences are not interested in seeing anymore. Just look at Terminator Dark Fate and Charlie's Angels, or any other films and TV shows that embrace woke culture. Yeah, that won't stop him. He's going to make his truckload of money either way. He doesn't give a shit about longevity. Movie-going audiences do not want to see films that have social content that is relevant today. We want messages that are timeless. If you choose relevant today over timeless, no one remembers your movie the second they're out of the theaters. That's a fact. In contrast, timeless messages are always with us. Yeah, you go for overarching themes. You don't go for in the moment, because that stuff is very, very dated and is rarely looked back upon with any fondness. People still talk about Lord of the Rings and the original Star Wars films. People are still talking about Die Hard, The Sound of Music, Gone with the Wind, and with the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, and how many people are talking about Ghostbusters 2016? Although we do have an article on that. McFarlane's comments come as Image announced the recently released Gunslinger Spawn #1, the biggest launch of a new superhero monthly title in the comic industry in the past 25 years, with the first printing of 393,000 copies. Image specifically noted that the first issue sales for Gunslinger Spawn beat out Marvel's Spider-Gwen that launched in 2015. According to Comic-Con, Spider-Gwen shipped 254,074 copies when it first debuted in 2015. And how many of those were inside loot boxes, I wonder? McFarlane isn't embracing topics that would be relevant today in terms of social content. He's literally breaking records with the character from the Old West. Here's the official description. Introducing the... I don't really care about this. If they're going to make the movie woke, it's going to tank. I don't think people are interested in that. He knows he has plenty of goodwill left with his fan base to do this and make money. Yeah, he will. He'll make money off of it, but it might hurt the longevity of the brand, which is what would worry me as a creator. You want your brand to be timeless and have a long, healthy lifespan, and this could undermine a lot of what he's doing. Antifa burning down buildings. No, they'll be fighting for justice. He'll be fighting the police, most likely. Anti-POC heroes aren't safe from the woke. No, nothing is safe from the woke. They will destroy anything. He could also have gotten fucked over signing a back. Yeah, his contract might be part of this problem too. Yeah, you're not wrong, Oki. That used to be a much lower bar. That 273,000 copies 30 years ago would have been laughed at. All right. Let's talk some more Disney news. This one wasn't in the description for reasons that'll become apparent in a second. This comes from People magazine. Disney Cruise Line sued after little girl was allegedly no touch during holiday. The complaint filed Wednesday in federal court in the Middle District of Florida and obtained by People names the Magical Cruise Company, which operates Disney Cruise Line. According to the complaint, the parents alleged that their 3-year-old daughter was enrolled in the ship's youth club on January 9th, 2020. At some point, the toddler was in the Lab Media Lounge with other children of all ages. The youth club is available for children 3 to 12. While in the lounge, the 3-year-old was physically restrained and no touched by a significantly older child who was a passenger on the cruise. The complaint alleges that the toddler was excessively groped and no touched in her no spots by the older child and did not have physical capacity to get the older child off her. Several Disney crew members entered the room during the alleged assault but failed to recognize and or appreciate the ongoing sexual assault, even though it happened in plain view, according to the lawsuit. Yeah, people that work on these cruise ships, as far as I can tell, they're some of the worst people in the world because they don't give a fuck about anything. People go missing off cruise ships with a frightening amount of frequency. The parents' attorney, Michael Winkleman, told, I don't know about specifically Disney, but if you look at the cruise lines in general, people go missing off those an unhealthy amount. The parents' attorney, Michael Winkleman, told the Miami Herald that the alleged assault continued for 20 minutes while the child was under the direct supervision of Disney employees whose singular job is to oversee these children. Soon after, the child began showing signs of abuse, which is when authorities sought out security footage from the ship. The victim's parents filed the case in order to seek justice and accountability and to raise awareness about the hidden dangers of no touching on cruise ships. Something that happens a lot more frequently than people going missing. They don't do a lot of background checks, as far as I could tell. And if their home port isn't the U.S., a lot of times the FBI doesn't even have jurisdiction, or the Coast Guard, or any other agency. Disney said that the lawsuit's without merit. The plaintiff's first allegations were reported to the FBI, and the Brevard County Sheriff's Office investigated them and determined them to be unfounded, the spokesperson said. The plaintiffs have now come back with a different story, which is equally unfounded, that another young female child was acted inappropriately with their child. We will vigorously defend this in court. I don't actually want to believe Disney. I don't know who to believe on this one. But a lot of bad stuff does happen on cruise ships, and cruise staff do not seem to be scrutinized or trained properly, as we've seen time and time again, especially with that ship that crashed off the coast of Italy, and most of the staff left before the fucking people did. And the captain was like off trying to bang some whore, and he ended up getting put in jail because you don't do that shit in Italy. Grabbiest place on earth. Oh, yeah, exactly, Evil One. Never leave your kids unattended. Yeah, drunk people fall off. Some minor searching is done, but the ship steams right along, logs it, and maybe reports it. And people have been pushed off, murdered. There was some chick a couple years ago that went missing, and the cruise line's answer was like, "Oh well, she must have just left her husband." And the last person seen with her was a member of the cruise staff. So yeah, Evolved, you're not wrong. There's a lot of stuff going on in these things that is pretty sordid. It's amazing how much footage seems to get lost by these cruise ships. Like, because there's supposed to be cameras all over the place on these things. And yeah, oh, we erased that. Uh-huh. Sure you did. Yeah, when they get into international laws, things get a little tricky. It used to be that their home port had jurisdiction over the ships. But unfortunately, a lot of places, especially in like the Norway and Denmark areas, they don't seem to really be too interested in crimes committed on cruise ships. So there has been a push to make it so that if they port in the US gets jurisdiction. And in some airlines I know, if there's an American on the aircraft, then the FBI gets jurisdiction under certain arrangements. So I think they should probably be pushing to do that, make international standards where wherever the ship docked last or the US has jurisdiction, because some of these places like Aruba, they don't give a fuck about American citizens. They don't give a fuck about anything. So yeah, they sail under the jurisdiction of the flag it's registered under. And a lot of these are registered to places that just don't give a shit. It's kind of looking to do something like that anymore. I won't. I don't think I'd ever go on a cruise, especially one out in international waters. You want to go see some whales in Alaska or something, that's one thing. But if it's not strictly overseen, yeah, just type it in mysterious cruise ship disappearance. You get a lot of crazy stories. Yeah, Tony, I'm sure at least with the military, there's a strict hierarchy where they will typically investigate, but when it's civilian, the oversight is almost non-existent, and the companies are more worried about their bottom line. Oh, do they? Okay. I didn't know that, Oki. Won't be surprised if the camera catches Biden playing with it. He was just sniffing her. All right, let's talk about another leak that came out. All right, Fortnite leak teases Rick Grimes skin from The Walking Dead. This is from comicbook.com. New leak associated with the Fortnite has teased that Rick Grimes, who is or was the main protagonist on The Walking Dead comics and TV series, will be heading to the Battle Royale shooter in the near future. Although developer Epic Games is yet to comment on the addition of Rick Grimes in a public manner, it seems the skin leaked online, but seems to all but confirm he'll be arriving before too long. But is he going to have the stump hand or the movie, or the TV show, rather? The way in which Rick Grimes' skin for Fortnite leaked in the first place is thanks to the Microsoft Store on Xbox. Some fans on social media happened to notice an advertisement for the Rick Grimes skin in the game and shared the images online. The Grimes skin is shown front and center in the promotional material, while fellow Walking Dead characters Michonne and Daryl are standing next to him. Michonne and Daryl have already come to Fortnite in the past, but based on the leak, it looks like they're going to be up for sale in the item shop once again, along with the release of Rick Grimes. It's worth noting that the official Fortnite Twitter account happened to tease earlier today that Rick Grimes will be coming to the title before long. While Rick Grimes wasn't mentioned outright, Epic did post an image on Twitter that featured the hat that Rick Grimes wears in The Walking Dead. They're just going to do Carl with his head blown off. With this in mind, it seems that Grimes will be coming to Fortnite as early as tonight. Typically, Epic tends to release new character skins on Saturday evenings. And based on this tease, the trend could continue once again, assuming that Rick, Michonne, and Daryl are added to Fortnite in the near future. We will be sure to update you here on comicbook.com. So let's look at this pic, see if it's still up. There he is. It's Rick Grimes! Yeah, he's got both hands. His face looks weird. So yeah, there you go. Looks like they're going to be in Fortnite if that's something you're into. Yeah, I don't get on boats for lots of reasons, mostly because the ocean wants to murder you. And there's monsters that live in the ocean. Like giant squid, megalodons, sharks, probably some plesiosauruses. I think they're plant eaters, but I don't know. I'm not ruling out the possibility they'll think I look like a plant. Yeah, I guess the Fortnite popularity is waning, but I don't know. I've never played the game. But you put Fortnite in your tags and the algorithm likes you. So, yeah, gotta get that shameless shilling done. Let's talk about Matthew McConaughey because Hollywood's full of weirdos. Damn right, Elwolf. Never rule anything out. All right. This comes from Bang Showbiz by way of MSN. Matthew McConaughey predicts natural order death. The Dallas Buyer Club's actor had dreams about his demise and had a feeling he will lose his life as part of the food chain, but insisted he'd prefer to die as part of the natural order rather than in a random accident or targeted assault. Speaking on the New York Times Sway podcast, he said, "I've got a feeling I'm going down as part of the food chain." Kara Swisher asked, "What do you mean, a bear eats you?" He replied, the dream was gators. But Matthew admitted he also had a dream where he was taken out by a bear and added, "I'd much rather go down that way than getting shot down in a drive-by, I'll take one where it's part of the natural order. There's some grace in that." I don't know. The natural order seems to be gun violence in large cities. It may be ugly and painful and bloody, but at least it's part of the natural order, and for that I'll purchase. After I'm gone, I hope to say I partook. What a weirdo. The 51-year-old star who has 3 children with wife Camilla Alves recently revealed he likes to go traveling in order to get perspective on his life and reflect on his decisions. What travel does is bounce you out, and all of a sudden you get to look at it, and you get to read the legato. You get the big machinations of how the movements were. Wait a minute, where am I in my life? That is healthy to get out occasionally. I don't like doing that. All my stuff's at home. I'm leaving what I know to find what I maybe need to know. It's changing the channel. It opens the aperture a different light. Sometimes, yeah, I agree with that, but I don't agree with the getting eaten by an alligator thing being somehow more graceful. That's just weird, dude. Dying in a car crash would suck balls. It's not a really cool way to go. Sounds like he took some weird drugs. It does. It does, very much so. Shot by a jealous husband. Yes. Yes. I want to die of a heart attack while doing some hard banging on top of some whore. And just let her live with that and have a great story to tell her friends. Most likely dying from ODing. Him, not me. Oh, yes, on their wedding night. Good one evolved. All right, let's see. Let's talk about the Mark Ruffalos because I don't like that guy. But according to Cosmic Book News, Marvel rumored to ditch Mark Ruffalo Goofy Hulk. This was probably the most annoying part of Endgame, was this stupid hippie Hulk. It was fucking annoying. It's rumored that Marvel's going to ditch the Mark Ruffalo Goofy Hulk that was featured in Endgame for the upcoming She-Hulk Disney Plus series. The rumor via Giant Freaking Robot offers that Bruce Banner will become human again and that the Smart Hulk merged with personality will be no more. The rumor doesn't offer specific details or when the change will happen, if it will happen off screen before the She-Hulk series in the beginning or sometime during the show. How about we just replace Mark Ruffalo with a good actor? A recent set pick has shown Mark Ruffalo in a co-cap, so we at least know Ruffalo will be featured in as the Hulk. In the comics, it's Banner's gives his cousin Jennifer Walters a blood transfusion and not the Hulk, which saves her life and enables her to be able to transform into She-Hulk. Regarding Goofy Hulk, the merge transformation actually happened off screen where something ridiculous was mentioned about Banner merging themselves in a laboratory. The comics did it better, much better. As a big Hulk fan myself, I was really disappointed by the Hulk in Avengers Endgame, especially after Infinity War, where the Hulk refused to show up and help, which I thought was really lame. It was absolutely stupid, and it wouldn't have happened in the comics. Peter David was writing the comics when they did Smart Hulk, and it was a really good storyline. It's also known that there were plans for the Hulk to battle Thanos again, but those plans were scrapped in favor of the Goofy Hulk, again being a big-time disappointment. Yeah, the rest doesn't really matter. It's also been rumored they're ditching Goofy Fat Thor. They need to get away from this, silly tee-hee humor that they seem to be embracing so much, Disney. I preferred Edward Norton as well, Elwolf. I don't care how difficult he was to work with. He was a better actor. They need to get away from this overly silly stuff, though. It's really tiresome. That would be cool, too, Evolved. But I don't think they'll do that. It'd be nice if they just did CG Hulk instead of anything with Mark Ruffalo, because he sucks so bad. All right, let's talk about Chuck Dixon. All right, this one comes from Bounding. Got a lot of Bounding articles I've been sitting on. This is an older one. DC and Marvel seem to be in some sort of suicide pact with themselves to destroy American comics. I agree. This is from Dixon's video. I gotta subscribe to his YouTube channel because it seems like he does some pretty interesting stuff. Dixon was asked by a fan, "What do you think of? What do you think do these big two need to do to save their decline of popularity? And lastly, what are your thoughts on Comicsgate? Do you think it's a useless movement that's overdoing it, or a necessary thing to wake up Marvel and DC?" Dixon responded to the question stating, "These questions are very much interrelated. So you've got DC and you've got Marvel. They're the big two. They're the big cats in the cage. They're the stars. All the comics industry goes up or down with the fortunes of DC and Marvel. It's just the way it is. I don't see it ever changing, particularly since DC and Marvel seem to be in some sort of suicide pact with themselves to destroy American comics. I'm beginning to believe they are doing it intentionally, and I don't think in a year from now DC or Marvel are going to exist as we see them today or as we ever remembered them. They already really don't exist as I remembered them. The parent companies can't keep carrying these comic companies that simply don't deliver any kind of earnings. And I know in the new economy, as NPR always tells me, earnings don't matter, but they do. They do in the end. You got to pay people. You got to make enough money to pay everybody and keep the lights on. Yeah, where'd my mouse go? There it is. All right, that looks silly. Dixon then turned his attention to the first question, saying, "What can they do to turn it around?" Honestly, I think at this point it's too late. They've screwed the pooch on all this stuff so much. They've chased away so many rumors. I think that he meant customers. At this point, if DC and Marvel said, "Well, we're going to go back to doing things the way we used to do," at this point, who would believe them? Because they've certainly said it enough times. Dixon then proceeded to provide an example. As the stream ran out of the Ultimates at Marvel, it seemed like every 3 months the companies would say, "We're going to return to more traditional ways of comics. We're going to do a soft reboot and basically go back to the way we were doing business before." But it turned out never to be true. That's absolutely fact. I never liked the Ultimates line. I thought it was glorified fan fiction, but that seems to be all they do now. Yeah, DC would be lucky to turn around in a year. They're in big, big trouble at DC. Need money to pay talent. Now these insufferable hacks. Yeah. I'm willing to take some subpar art for a better story, but they're not willing to do either. They just give you shit on both ends. Dixon then proceeded with, I just read that. As for why their promises were never kept, he posited, "I think that partly because they had chased away the talent or barred the talent from working, that they could have actually accomplished that they could have returned to their that could have returned them to greatness. There are rare exceptions. Dan Jurgens continues to do terrific work at DC, and that's a rare exception for the most part. All the contemporaries to Dan Jurgens are not working in comics or they're doing their own thing." Yeah, Jurgens is doing Blue and Gold, which is really, really fun, actually. Dixon then turned his attention to Comicsgate. This is where Comicsgate comes in, because what happened was, because Marvel and DC chased away 60 to 70% of their readership, with no new readers coming in to replace them, because why would they? Comics aren't that interesting. They're not that engaging. They're not that attractive. And they featured characters for the most part that people couldn't even recognize anymore because they've either then been completely changed or altered in a way that the general public no longer recognized them. So kids going to see a Marvel or DC movie wanted a comic book like those characters. They couldn't even find anyone with those characters. So sales cratered, continued to crater, death spiral. He's not wrong. He's been doing a lot of work at Arkhaven, which I've never read. They do. I'm not a big fan of the guy that runs the thing, so I've never checked any of them out. But I might have to, just because at some point we're gonna. Oh man, really cut that image off at the wrong spot. So I might have to check them out because they seem to be growing in popularity, and Dixon will work pretty much anywhere. He then questioned, "But what happens to all those comic book readers? People like you, people like me, we want to read comics. We don't want to stop just because they suck." So into the gap comes Comicsgate. I don't even like Comicsgate as a term because it started out as a pejorative. "Oh, you're part of Comicsgate," like it's some conspiracy, like we all live in the same house. I don't even know what Comicsgate is. I'm not even sure what Comicsgate means. I'm always including Comicsgate when they make a list of Comicsgate people. I'm always on it, often near the top, which is I say jokingly, I'm the Jesus of Comicsgate. I was the first. I was blacklisted by the industry and outed as a conservative. Yeah, and his run on Batman was one of the best Batman runs ever. He's done some amazing work over the years, and he got blacklisted because of his politics, which he doesn't express in his books, unlike a lot of the crazies now. I have a great idea. Let's start a comic book company, but let's hire the worst writers and artists. Yeah, that'd be called Marvel. Dixon, when I don't really care about his definition of Comicsgate. They made it into something. He's talking about Marvel and DC. They made it something political. It's not an accident that the majority of Comicsgate people, or the majority of these independent creators, tend to be conservative because so many of them no longer work with the big two because they're blacklisted. The Archaven Comics writer then went on to say, so what were they supposed to do? They were supposed to go become greeters at Walmart? Or no, they're supposed to die in a gutter, I think, is from what I'm gathering from people like Kirk Busiek. Or they find a way to keep doing what it is they do best, which is create comics. And we know the names: Billy Tucci, Ethan Van Sciver, Graham Nolan, Richard Meyer. Excuse me, but this guy's over a year late on his second book, and this guy's late with like 4 books. I think he managed to get his out on time. I don't know anything about Graham Nolan's Indiegogos. These guys have been incredibly successful. There are others as well. Brian Pulido. Brian Pulido's a rock star of crowdfunding. Yeah, you want to learn how to crowdfund? Watch what Brian Pulido does. The guy is one of the earliest adopters of it, and he's been incredibly successful with his Lady Death stuff. That guy's been probably a millionaire a couple times over because of Lady Death crowdfunders. Of course, Brian Pulido has always worked outside the system. He's always found a way. Yeah, he's done work with CrossGen and Harris Comics and a bunch of others. And now he's doing his own thing under Coffin. So good on him. That guy's made a really good career for himself. Dixon continues, so that's what Comicsgate is. I find it funny that some of the big critics of Comicsgate tried to do what the quote-unquote Comicsgate people were doing when they fell flat on their faces. Because they didn't seem to understand it. They mistook it for a political movement. It's not really a movement. It's not like we all got together in a castle somewhere and said, we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and you're going to... This was organic. Yeah, it was a consumer revolt, not what it is now, but originally. Now it's just Ethan Van Sciver's personal masthead. Or Preston Poulter's, depending on who you talk to on Trademark. Later, Dixon states, so like I said, Comicsgate was a pejorative. It's an insult, but some of the Comicsgate people embraced it like a badge of honor. I don't really see it that way. I think it's just kind of a dumb term. I don't think it accurately describes what's going on. I see it more as an independent creator revolution, a creator-owned revolution. Yeah, he's doing a lot of that with Archaven. He's made a lot of these characters, and he's written, I think, all of them. So there's that. But he's not wrong that DC and Marvel seem to be in a political suicide pact. No one's up to date. Good. I'm glad somebody is. You know who I haven't had problems with was Tim Lim from Iconic Comics, their Common America books, and several of their other books, like the one Doug Ernst did, Soul Finder. I've got both those. They all showed up early or on time. I think Soul Finder was like 2 weeks early, and Common America, the third one, showed up right on time. And they always give me tracking numbers, which is what most people won't do because it takes a lot of time. And I never had a problem with any of their books. They've all been really well packed on time. I'm still waiting on Expendables Go to Hell. That's over a year late, almost 2 years at this point. There's a lot of stuff that I paid for and it just never got. So that's why I don't do many crowdfunders anymore. It's just not worth the money. And man, Sciver was a year and a half late with the first Frog book, and now it looks like the other one's going to be at least that long. Probably longer. So I don't have a lot of faith in him. And he's got a bunch of other people doing stuff under his publishing house, all caps. And I expect all of those to be at least a year late. because they don't seem very excited about getting stuff done. And that's not going to win me any friends in the online circle here, but I don't trust people that tell me when they're going to deliver something and then don't do it. You want to be a couple months late because of shipping or something, fine, but there's no reason to be a year late on these projects unless you had a major life event. And look at Detective Dead. That one's never coming out. That guy took the money and blew it all on crowdfunders. And there's been a lot of those that we've seen lately, that where stuff's just massively late to the point where you might as well just write that money off. So if you're going to buy something, make sure it's from somebody that's had a couple under their belt or is working with somebody else. You know, that even Alterna, yeah, he's too busy going on podcasts. You're not wrong. And that's the problem, is he's not prioritizing. People gave him a lot of money for a product and he's not delivering. Instead, he's spending all this time on podcasts. Like, look, I understand you enjoy doing that. It's not that challenging. It's a lot of fun to do these broadcasts, but you can't constantly do that when you took in what, $500,000 for your book and it's over a year late. Come on. Person keeps their promises or their word isn't worth a damn. Exactly, Kyler. And I have trouble. Like, I understand a little bit of a delay. Fine. Shipping issues, the coof shut a lot of stuff down. Your printer ditched you or whatever. Fine. I get that. There's always going to be some wrenches. Some of that should have been planned for in advance and factored into the promised delivery date. Now, something comes up last minute, your letterer got sick, or you had to find a replacement, whatever. Fine, I get that. Couple months should be able to hammer all that out. There's no reason a comic book should be a year late. At best, they're like 32 pages. Come on. Even if you have ones that are like the 60-page ones, should have all been accounted for in your timing and in your budget. All that stuff should be worked out in advance. Do some basic business acumen. It's all it takes. You run it by some people. You get all your quotes for printing before you launch your Indiegogos. And Van Sciver has no excuse. He worked in the industry. He knows where to get stuff printed from. He's even said where he gets it printed from in Canada. It's not like he's getting it from China like a lot of people are. Like Print Ninja comes from China. Ironically, because ninja is a Chinese word, but it's a Japanese occupation. So I would never promise to do anything I might not do. Exactly. You don't make promises you don't think you're going to keep. A month or 3, that's one thing, but over a year, come on, man. Right? Exactly. That's my complaint about all these. So I don't trust a lot of these crowdfunders. If I throw $15 at a project, I don't plan on getting that money back because I just assume they're going to rip me off. Because I've been burned too many times by too many things. There's one I backed 4 years ago now, I think, that the guy doing it died. And his parents are trying to finish the game. It was a board game, and it was about like intergalactic space trading. It looked fun. It was like $40 or $50. I had the money back then, and I backed it. And I was like, and then I found out the guy died. I was like, well, that money's gone. But his parents have been working to finish the game for him because that was what he wanted to do. That was his dream, was to get this board game done. And they have done everything they could to get it done. They've had such a learning curve. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. So I'm more than cool with that, but I wrote that money off a long time ago. But they give monthly updates. Fucking Richard C. Meyer can't give me a fucking monthly update. You know why? I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing with all my money. Because I had one point had backed 2 of the 4 books that are late. I did get a refund on one of them, but he's even pulled the like, well, you're not promised a book bullshit. And that was when I unsubscribed from him right there. I was like, well, you're not getting my money ever again. I'll buy your book secondhand off eBay for $15. Because fuck you. If you're going to try and backpedal from like the hot dog vendor analogy he used to use all the time, put out a good product, put it out on time. He hasn't done that. He has 4 books that are late. Impossible Stars was late, which finally did go out apparently. The last Jawbreakers book is a year late. Expendables is almost 2 years late, and I forget what the other one is. I think Rock and Roll Ninja, or the one that was before that, is also late. So fuck him, man. Yeah, Evolved. That shows dedication that the parents who are like in their 60s are trying to finish a fucking board game, and they could give monthly updates when fucking so-called professionals can't. Go fuck yourselves. That's why I don't talk about Comicsgate very often, because people get really pissed at my opinions on it about stuff like that. Davis and the rest are great. You're right, Jack. Fulfillment with Van Sciver and several others is terrible. Davis, Malin, Nolan, Bancroft, all on time. Yeah, I never backed any Malin stuff. I kind of don't like him as a person. I think he's kind of an idiot. But if his book, I read one of his books and didn't really care for it, The First Graveyard Shift. But I've never had a problem at least getting communication from people that are late, except for a lot of the Comicsgate guys. A lot of the independent stuff. I bought a book called Company of Eagles. It was by a socialist guy. And I bought it off my buddy who backed it. And he's like, well, I just don't want it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll take it. And apparently that dude was giving more fucking updates from a fucking commie who was writing a comic book about decolonization than fucking Van Sciver could be bothered to do. So fuck those guys. I'm not giving them my money. They want my money. They need to at least They at least produce cheap comics, and they do produce stuff on time. They had problems with the printer last year. Fine, I get that. But whenever I backed one of their Indiegogos, I got my stuff on time. Same with Tim Lim. Same with Doug Ernst. You got to get your shit out and keep people up to date on what's going on. Why something is going to be late. Show them what they're getting. Walk them through it. Doug TenNapel, for as much as people don't like him, he showed a video of him at the printers, walking around, showing the books. Really good internet, quite frankly. It was very interesting, and I learned a lot there. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Kyler. You just have to be careful who you give your money to. And you know what? My money's real tight. I don't have the budget for that shit anymore. So I don't back that stuff very often. And when I do, it's going to be somebody like Tim Lim. He got a $10 hardback with $5 shipping to me on time. Yeah, you can't get your fucking frog book out? Fuck off. It's not going to be perfect. And he needs an editor really fucking badly. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. That's a personal quibble. But you can't get your book done in almost 2 years? Come on, dude. Seriously, stop broadcasting so much and work on the project that people gave you the money for. He probably makes more money doing streaming, quite frankly. It's more immediate gratification, too. But there's no reason that some of these books should be late, whether it's Expendables or Cyberfrog. There's no reason those books should be late. They're just dragging their feet because they don't want to do it. Or they're lazy. I don't know. And there's absolutely no reason for it. These guys both have a lot of money from these crowdfunders. They could have hired help if they needed it. There's no reason these books should be late. All right, I'm going to stop bitching about Comicsgate because I think it's pretty well long dead at this point. It's just a moniker that is being profited off of by Van Sciver at this point. It's his little club. All right, let's talk about Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife director Jason Reitman says upcoming sequel will expand on the 26 reboot story theme. Yeah. Back to one comic so far. I don't get updates, but still waiting it out. It's the guy's graded 0.5. I'm not familiar with them. Well, hopefully you get your book. The Dan Slott of Comicsgate. Wow. I didn't say it, but I'm stealing it. Despite the Ghostbusters answer the call standing as one of the most magnificent cinematic disasters in recent years. Oh boy, did you nail that one, Spencer. Ghostbusters Afterlife director Jason Reitman has somehow managed to pull a positive aspect from amidst the wreckage, revealing in a recent interview that his upcoming franchise sequel will expand on one of the 2016 reboot's central story themes. What, of not having a script and hiring unqualified shit actors. Speaking with SFX Magazine via Games Radar, for their October issue, Reitman asserted that the Paul Feig directed 2016 reboot helped him personally take interest in the idea that Ghostbusters could be anyone, which in turn expanded upon in Ghostbusters Afterlife, while always focusing on the family aspect and the history that was created by the original films. Every Ghostbusters film has up to now been about the opening of a company, friendship through the window of a business, Reitman said. Screenwriter Gil Keenan and I wanted to make a movie about family. As has been previously revealed, Ghostbusters Afterlife will follow the family of Dr. Egon Spengler, particularly his grandchildren, as they discover the history of the founding of Ghostbusters' involvement with the paranormal and fight back against the horrors left over from the events of the original film. However, rather than beginning from a place of profit anticipation or outright nostalgia baiting, Reitman explained that every story that I have ever told began with a character, and noted in the case of Afterlife, it was a 12-year-old girl standing in a field with a proton pack. That's a girl? Huh, thought it was just an ugly boy. At first, I didn't know who she was. Eventually, I knew that she'd be a genius, of course, because all kids are geniuses now, who found the Neutrona wand in her grandfather's basement. I knew that her brother would find Ecto-1 in a barn and go joyriding. Eventually, I realized she was a Spengler. The Spenglers, Reitman explained, are a single mom and 2 kids, and they are a family that love one another but struggles to connect. When anyone is born into a family, they arrive inside a mystery that started generations before them. Part of any life is trying to figure out where you came from and what drama led to your arrival. Usually it's your parents banging. This is the moment at which we find Phoebe and Trevor and Paul Rudd. So it's a misleading idea to say that it's an expansion on Paul Feig, but I get what he was going for. So I really hope this movie's good. I don't know if it's going to be, though. Yeah, it does sound like they're puffing a little bit with 2016 Ghostbusters is best forgotten. That movie was so fucking stupid. I actually own that. Picked it up for like $3, $3 or $5 at a bargain bin at a Big Lots. It was crap. 2 Ghostbuster movies in my universe. I'll go see this one. I'm hoping it'll be good, but I don't have that high of hopes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And in my final article for the evening, it's going to come out in November, I think, Kyler. It should come out before Halloween. It would have done better, I think, if they would have released it for Halloween. Release it like 2 weeks before Halloween, play up the ghost aspect, make more money. People love horror movies, but they haven't really done any horror movies this year. Excuse me. I think last year was the same, where they really didn't have any horror movies at Halloween time. They all seem to come out in November, which is dumb. We used to go see horror movies all the time before Halloween. It was great. Nope. They got spit in the face of every tradition. Lick the like video, you lazy bastards. You're not wrong. Hit the like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Hey, Cigar. Forgot that was even a thing, much like most movies that came out in the last decade or so, right? Most movies are kind of crap. And they're not worth seeing. But anymore, I just watch videos of stuff I liked because I'm getting old and cranky. But I do like seeing new movies. I want new classics. But there haven't been any. They're just content. They are released to exist and take up space. You watch them and immediately forget about them by the time you've walked away from the screen. Yeah, reality is kind of horrifying. Can watch the 2016 and made it 1/3 of the way. Oh, wow. You made it 1/3 of the way. That's pretty good. I'm used to watching shitty movies, so I made it through, but I'm not saying it wasn't a struggle. All right, let's take a look at this last article because this is the one that's most interesting. Hellraiser movie casts transgender actor Jamie Clayton to play Pinhead. You like Cenobites? Time to make them trans. The upcoming Hellraiser movie from director David Bruckner cast transgender actor Jamie Clayton to play Pinhead. Clayton previously played Nomi Marks in Sense8, Sasha Booker in Designated Survivor, and Tess Vanderberg in the L World Generation Q. Pinhead was originally played by Doug Bradley, excellently. Back in the original Hellraiser film in 1987, he would go on to reprise the role in Hellraiser 2, 3, and Bloodline. He also played the character in Hellraiser Hellworld, Deader, Hellseeker, Inferno, and Motorhead Hellraiser. I think most of those are video games. The character, I don't know. In the character's original backstory, he was a human known as Elliot Spencer, who was born in England in 1887. His transformation into Pinhead was shown in Hellbound Hellraiser 2. Well, Hellraiser 2 revealed that Pinhead was originally a human male. The first Hellraiser film introduced a female Cenobite known as Deep Throat. Write your own joke. The creator was portrayed by Grace Kirby. In Hellraiser 2, the character was portrayed by Barbie Wilde. Like Pinhead, the character was originally a human nun named Sister Nicoletta. Christy Cotton will be transformed into a Cenobite known as the Hell Priestess that looks like a female version of Pinhead. This Hell Priestess version of her would appear in the comic series Hellraiser The Road Below and Hellraiser The Dark Watch. The first series was written by Brandon Surfitt with art by Jaime Young? I don't know. While the second was written by Clive Barker and Brandon Seifert with the art by Corkit Ostkin. I butchered every one of those names, I think. Clive Barker created Hellraiser, for those of you that don't know. On top of the announcement that Clayton will play Pinhead, they also confirmed the film will also star Grand Army actress Odessa Azion. The rest of the cast includes Brandon Flynn, Goran, something I can't pronounce, Drew Starkey, Adam Faison, a bunch of people you've never heard of. Alongside these casting announcements, they also announced Hellraiser creator Clive Barker has also joined the film as a producer. That's a good sign. The film was directed by Bruckner, based off a script by Ben Collins and Luke somebody or other, with a story by David Goyer. Next year, Spyglass president of production, Peter somebody, stated next year marks the 35th anniversary since Hellraiser first haunted our dreams. It's only fitting to come full circle and collaborating with Clive, the original creator and master of visionary horror. That's an over-exaggeration. We look forward to working with our partners at Hulu and bringing this unique take on the original to new audiences. It's going to be a Hulu movie, huh? It's been such an honor to have Clive Barker on, blah, blah, blah. Flatiate him later. They pay homage to the first film created, but then take it to places never been before. They always say that. That usually means it's dog shit. The Hellraiser on a scale I simply didn't expect. David and his team are steeped in the story's mythology, but what excites me is their desire to honor the original, even as they revolutionize it for a new generation. Revolutionize it for a new generation usually means it's dog shit. No release date's been announced. So this isn't Hell Priestess or the chick Cenobite. This is transgender Pinhead. I don't know. Is that a dude originally or a chick? I don't fucking know. I don't care either. But yeah, they're gonna start wokeifying Hellraiser now. Nothing is safe. The great cucking of Pinhead. Well, probably literally. Yeah. I mean, there's probably some ding dong in there. I don't know. But yeah, they're gonna woken up everything because they haven't lost enough money to recognize this as a failure. It's probably because of his specifics. The Fury Wilder fight. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I was dreading the new Highlander. The original is one of my favorites. Yeah, just watch the original, dude. Get it on Blu-ray while you can. It's gonna vanish into the ether when the new one comes out. BG, that's funny. Gender flip is so cool, right? Yeah, I don't know. Terry Farrell a long time ago, and it was weird. But yeah, I haven't seen those movies in a long time. Remember the first couple were pretty good, but I don't really remember them beyond that. But Clive Barker has this thing. He likes to play up the fact that he's gay a little too much, I think. It's kind of trite and covers for bad storytelling. So we can look forward to that mess. It sounds like it's going to be a Hulu exclusive, which, again, they're not making films, they're making content. And if they're just producing content based off of recognizable IP, they're watering it down, and they don't really care. They don't have any plans for longevity. Their idea is just to throw stuff out. That's why Netflix shows so often just have one season. They only care about the immediate. They don't care about the long-term longevity or building a franchise up. They don't care about any of that. They just care about fulfilling slots now, and not in the fun way. Yeah, there were never any Highlander sequels, especially that second turd. Clive has done some good work in the past these days. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it could be good, but I'm not holding my breath on any of this stuff. It's just too much chance that it's going to be trash. And the way things are these days, everything's got to get all woke and have modern agenda, and it's boring and lazy, and it's often forgettable because by the time they finish, like the film, the topic they were trying to address is vastly dated. It's laziness. Well, that's all I had for today, guys. If you guys have any questions or anything, we'll give it a minute for that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Assassin. They're like, oh, this is so relevant to today's youth. And the trend has already died down by the time they make the movie. Especially like Black Widow really missed its window by like 7 years. But they still made that movie, and then they sat on it for an entire year during the coof, and they really missed every window they could have to make that movie a big success. Instead, it came off as like just a random action film. Yeah, Peter, you're not wrong. Would have liked to have seen a remake of Silent Hill. Yeah, I liked the first movie. I thought it had some good ideas and some really good imagery, but the ending was pretty weak. Why would a person from the 1800 cares about being woke? Well, we don't talk about that. They got to insert modern politics into everything. You can see they'll probably do a remake of some Dickens classic and make it about Tiny Tim's black now, and it's because and it's about white supremacy. What did I cover in the first 30 minutes? Fuck, I don't know. It was a long time ago. Should have gotten a relevant movie right after Iron Man 2. Yeah, after Iron Man 2 or after The Winter Soldier. What did I cover at the beginning of the stream? Let's see. I covered the Godzilla thing at Alamo Drafthouse. Rambled on for a while about stuff. Talked about the Flash movie. Some stuff like that. Various leaks and stuff from the Shazam film. I think that was about it. Mingus. Yes, I did talk about Mingus as well. Magnus Reedus. Oh, they already did that. Ugh. I think Silent Hill miniseries, a lot of themes need to be. Yeah, they could do a really good Silent Hill series like along the lines of like House on the Hill or Haunting a Hill House. That's what it was. That's a bad 2020 Christmas Carol movie directed by. There was the Black Christmas remakes. They've done that like 3 times. That was stupid. But yeah, they could do a lot with Silent Hill and make it interesting, but they don't, which is really, really sad. Because no one see any irony in having tortured, obsessed creature from hell being played by a trans person. I don't think they quite figured that part out. I think they were just going for the political angle and didn't really think it through. Silent Hill lore kind of boring. Yeah, but it could be interesting, Kyler. They could do something with it. They just choose to make it stay boring. There's a lot that could be done with the setting, and it's based off of a sort of a real place, Centralia, PA. Which if you've never been to Centralia, there's a coal fire underneath of it, and it's been burning, and the town got abandoned. I think last census there was like 12 people still living there. And it's all like your shoes will melt and parts of it. It's incredibly dangerous to be in there, and you're not supposed to be anyway. So yeah, the concept of like this perpetually fogged place could be really interesting and very atmospheric, but yeah, they kind of screwed the pooch on that one. No, wait, that's the wrong one. There's a bad one. Those Tiny Tim's mom is black. Oh God, that sounds boring as fuck. Sounds lazy. Has been hotel where no one is straight or cis. It takes place in hell. Oh my. Yeah, body modification, mutilation, torture. Yeah, there's a lot of underlying themes to Hellraiser that might not be very smiled upon by the trans community or the trenders anyway. All right, well, that's all I had for tonight. Creepy place. Storytelling was crap for the video game. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for the donations, you guys, and coming out and supporting the show and the channel, and me and the liking and all that stuff. It's really, really appreciated. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Probably see some of you guys over on Monkey in the Morning or on the next one. So hopefully we will